Okay, thanks for jumping into day two of the Sprint to Freedom. My name is Martin Williams, and today what I wanted to start talking about is publishing. And today you're going to start making your post, making your daily post. And I wanted to just say a few words about that for those of you that may be new to this you know making content every day, content creation, talking about yourself, talking about your product or service. This is something that you're not really used to doing. I wanted to, just basically talk a little bit about that and, start getting the mindset of, creating content daily, because this is what you're going to, this is what's going to help you build the type of audience that you want to build, to, basically purchase your products and consume your products and, allow you to, get to a place where you can leave your job. So you're going to become a professional content creator. Okay. So welcome to the League of Content Creators. 'Cause that is what you are now. You will be creating content, more content probably than you've ever created before if you do this right. You will be, excuse me, consistently putting yourself out there. And as far as the ways and means to do it, a lot of people say that, you need to do video. Podcasts have certainly exploded over the last few years. COVID, was really a boom period for podcasts because, everyone was home. Everyone was, either off work or out of work. And so we just had more free time, and a lot of podcasts really blew up during that time. But even now, podcasting is still a very popular medium. So there's video, there's podcasting, and then there's writing, Medium, Substack, all those platforms where you can, write. And really, it comes down to what you feel comfortable doing. If you're comfortable writing, more comfortable writing than video or podcasting, then that's what you should do. You should write. Okay. Because that comfort level is going to come across to people. If you're more comfortable with podcasting, then that's what you should do. You should podcast. And then, if you're someone that loves being on video, you love being seen, then video's for you. I really go between the three. I'm probably more comfortable writing. It's just something I like to do. It's not that I'm afraid to be on camera. Obviously, I'm here, right? And I certainly do like podcasting as well. What I would suggest, as far as, your mentality and your strategy in publishing, is that pick one and stick with it, right? And basically pick one and do that daily. Okay. And for the other things, do them sporadically, right? And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. Because there are people who read, but they don't watch videos. There are people who watch videos but don't read. And there are people who do neither, but listen to podcasts. And you want to reach as many people as possible. So my suggestion is pick one and really hone in on that and stick with that, but periodically jump into the other two. And that way, again, you start covering your bases. Now, what should you publish? I think that's a very good question. A lot of people will ask. So I'll offer a couple of scenarios, and then you can kind of see where you fit in. If you're someone that's in the helping professions, let's say that you're in mental health, you might be a coach, you might be a personal trainer, you might be, a mindset coach like myself, you might be a doctor, a dentist that is launching out into their own practice, whatever the case may be. So if that's you, you want to talk about the problems that your product and or service are solving. So if you're a dentist, then obviously your big problem is teeth, right? And so you want to talk about the types of things that people are going to have to consider with their teeth, flossing, mouthwash, like what are the best mouthwashes to use? Should you use a soft toothbrush or a medium toothbrush? What are the best electric toothbrushes? Things like that, right? If you're in mental health, you might want to talk about, your specialty. Is it, dealing with people with PTSD, people who have or OCD tendencies, depression, bipolar, things of that nature, right? If you're a personal trainer, you talk about, do you work with women? Do you work primarily with men? Do you work with people who are older? Do you work with athletes, right? So, you talk about, your segment, and then you talk about the problems that those people face, excuse me. So with the older population, you're dealing with, osteoporosis and, decreased testosterone, decreased estrogen, things like that. You're dealing with, people that are, maybe have not been active their whole life, and now in their 50s, their doctor told them they need to start working out, if they want to live a long life. So, they're coming to you for advice and ideas and things like that. So, if you cut grass, you talk about, maybe the best lawnmowers to buy, or, little things that you can do to help your grass stay healthy, right? These are all ideas, okay? But you want your publishing really to focus on the problem, right? You want to talk about the problem, talk about the problem, talk about the problem. And the reason you want to talk about the problem is that you want to make people aware, number one, that they have a problem. And then number two, that problem is going to cost them money if they don't do something about it, right? If you're an accountant, right, and you're talking about the problem of back taxes, okay, a lot of people might think, well, it's not a big deal if my taxes were late. But if you owe taxes, right, those, the interest and the penalties can really, skyrocket and really get out of control if you're not careful, right? So they need to understand the seriousness and the urgency of fixing that problem. Does that make sense? So your publishing really needs to be in that vein. You want to talk, and I would say 70%, you want to talk about the problem, okay? And then within that, provide many solutions, provide do-it-yourself solutions, okay? Things that people can, put into practice right away. So, for instance, if you're, like I said, a landscaper, watering your grass twice a week or something like that will help it stay healthy and stay green. Provide little nuggets of things like that, because people will develop what's called the know, like, and trust factor, and they will come to trust you more because you're giving them information and not asking for anything back, right? Now, ultimately, you want to do business with them, but sometimes we got to make the first move, right? So 70% of your content should be problem solving. 20% of your content should be personal life or hobbies, right? Because you want people to understand that you're a human being, and that I'm not just in business. I'm not just selling stuff, but I'm a human being. I have a family. I have hobbies. I have things that I care about that have nothing to do with business or money or anything like that, right? So 20% of your content, 2 out of every 10 posts, should be personal. And get as personal as you feel comfortable doing. If you don't want to post your kids, I completely get it, right? If you don't want to post your spouse, I completely get it. Because, you just want people to you want to give people a glimpse of your personal life, but I can understand not wanting to show people every single thing because, you know, people are mean or can be mean, I should say. I wouldn't say all people, but some people, you know, they can be mean, they can be rude. And you don't want to deal with it. You don't want to be cussing people out and looking people up online and, and seeing, you know, how close they are, you know, when they start getting out of control. You know, do you need to pay them a visit? You don't want to get into all that, right? So, share what you're comfortable sharing is my point. Okay. So that's 20% of your content. 10% of your content should be strictly sales, right? Strictly sales. You want to spend a minimum amount of time selling whatever it is you're selling, right? Making a sales post. But in the grand scheme of things, because, you know, you're doing mostly problem solving, you're sprinkling in, you know, some personal life stuff, the selling isn't overwhelming. A lot of people make a mistake in selling, and no personal stuff, no problem solving stuff. And to me, that's a mistake. I think this is a good breakdown of what you should be posting. So the last piece of this is long form versus short form content. So short form content is basically things like IG Reels, TikTok, you know, YouTube Shorts, things like that. Okay. So these are things that can be consumed very quickly. And you should really take advantage of that because most people are going to discover you through your short form content. So, you know, you really want to make sure that you're hitting that hard, you know, every day, a reel, you know, every day, you know, and there are a lot of apps out here that will show you how to do that, how to turn a video into a reel. And we can discuss it here as well. I can provide, you know, some links to show you how to do that, turn a video into a reel, turn a podcast into a reel, right? Or TikTok or what have you. But that short form content, that's really going to be, in my view, your bread and butter. All right. And, you know, you, like I said, you can hit that every single day, you know, and you can schedule these things to put out, you know, especially on your off days. Right. So think every day, right, to your short form content. Every day you want to be posting that out. Your long form content, which is, you know, longer videos, longer articles, podcasts, longer podcasts. You can post that once or twice a week or more often if you have more time, right? If you're not working right now, obviously you got more free time than the average person. You know, of course, if you have a family, if you're taking care of someone, you don't have as much free time. But if you have a considerable amount of time, if you have more than 2 hours a day, which is the base amount of free time that I estimate most people have, right? You have 2 hours a day minimum to do these things that we're going to be doing. Then, you know, definitely do the longer form stuff more often. But if you don't have more than 2 hours a day to work on this, short form, is fine. That will get you to where you need to go. Okay. So, the last thing is that you want to think about your social media account, and you're publishing as like a TV station, and you're creating content, right? Just like your TV station, your local TV station, channel 9, channel 10, whatever it is, channel 3, whatever, right? They don't stay in business if they don't produce content, right? So they have obviously bigger networks that they're in partnership with. But if you don't produce content, you're not in business. And that's what, you know, that's the mindset I want you to have. I don't care what field you're in. You've got to produce content if you want to increase business and if you want to stay in business. So that's all I wanted to say for publishing. I'll have today's homework below. You're going to want to get those accounts going, that YouTube account, that Facebook account, that IG account, that TikTok account. Those are the big four. Get that going and then start publishing. And then tomorrow we're going to start talking about creating your product. So thanks so much for listening and watching. My name is Martin Williams, and I'll talk to you soon.